Do you know what I'm saying? Demon. Look at that header. The way he's attacked that. Lovely. Do you know what I'm saying? Lovely. And we're going into the second half now, bro. Level. Lovely. You get it? Lovely. Lovely jubbly, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? That's it. Going to the second half now. It's 0-0, lads. Let's go.
Yo. Where's my people them? Where's my people them? Where we at, man? Where we at, man? Walk on. What we saying?
Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
No regulars today. People in and out. Is that what we're doing? Huh? We're not sticking around today, are we? Wait there, 1 second. If you want Well, go on, people. What we're saying? Where's my regular goers? Huh? My team just gone 1-1. It's United 1, Newcastle 1. They've got a red card. Yes, Matty. Yes, my gangster. Walk one. How you doing, man? How you doing? What's cracking? What we on? What you been on? Where was you yesterday, Matty? You wasn't there. Of being consistent, you get me? Of being consistent and you ain't been showing up. You get me, blood? I'm alright, I'm just tired. Very, very tired. You get me? But the works must continue. The graft must go on. You know? That's what we're here to do. We're here to graft. And I was just thinking, there's a lot with this war thing going on. And there's a lot of different plays, tactics, speculation. Oh, was you in the Gets chat? You weren't there, was you? Maybe I'm going mad then. Maybe I'm going mad. But as I was saying, there's a lot going on with this war. And it seems to be a lot of mind games. You get me? But I'm not really too clued up as to why, how, and all of that. You get me? So I was thinking you lot could help me. You get me? I do know that Israel and USA are working together. Well, USA is defending Israel. Israel's attacking Iran. And I know that well, I don't know the real agendas, but that's what I want to figure out. I want to figure out why Israel and Iran are going at each other. I'm kind of guessing it's because Israel's just surrounded by their enemies. And, this is the big one to some extent, and they're using USA to do their bidding so they can take over the Middle East. And obviously USA is trying to benefit off that. And then obviously that's when all the alliances come into play. And there's some big heavy hitters that are just staying dormant at the minute and watching plays, clocking and just waiting. They're just itching for someone to make the wrong move. obviously I know that China's supplying Iran with missiles, but they're not actually getting involved. You get me? America killed someone first, as always. Yeah. So where do we start, man? Where do we start? Where do we start? Let me type in who started the Iran war. Let's see what comes up when I type in that. You know. You think China? I don't think they're backing Iran. You know, because if there was, they would have made moves. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think they're backing them, but I think they are affiliated. Then, you know, what is this now?
The liberals, anyways, did, but that didn't prove too well.
No, I can't go on that. Iran.
Before the hostage crisis ended, Iraq invaded Iran. The leader of Iraq, Saddam Hussein, felt threatened by Iran's Islamic Republic and thought the new regime was weak and could be quickly defeated. But the war lasted 8 years and more than 500,000 people died. Though officially neutral, the US secretly backed Iraq, providing financial aid, weapons, and intelligence. Towards the end of this war, on July 3rd, 1988, the US shot down an Iranian civilian plane that it says it mistook for a fighter jet and killed 290 people. Over time, in Iran, rhetoric against the US and its greatest ally in the region. In June 2025, the UN's nuclear watchdog said Iran had breached its nuclear obligations under the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Iran has always said that they have never looked to develop a nuclear weapon. Israel launched a series of strikes on Iran, resulting in a 12-day war between the two.
And it's true. I don't even know why I'm on the BBC. You can't believe them for anything. It's just pure propaganda. And this is why I find it hard, to understand what's going on, because I don't even know where to get most of the information from. But, you know, I feel like I need to maybe start figuring some of this ish out. Where do you think is the best? Where would you go for your information?
So the Iran war finally kicked off. Now, if you were following me, you would already know that was going to happen. Just the other day, I put out a video telling you that this war was guaranteed. Towards the end of this video, I will re-explain why I said that. For now, let's dive into the details of what happened. Just keep in mind, however, that this information is fresh and constantly changing. There is a lot of propaganda and misinformation. I will, however, do my best to get you
a lot of propaganda and a lot of misinformation.
The best, most verified information that I can, but you need to take everything I say with a grain of salt. So it all started around midnight on Friday on the East Coast in the US, which was about 8 a.m. Saturday morning in Tehran, when the US and Israel carried out joint strikes on Tehran. According to CNN, Israel launched what it called a preemptive strike, total bullshit, against Iran Saturday morning, according to the Defense Minister Israel Katz, as a state of emergency was declared across the country. At this moment in time, it is unclear how exactly the strikes were carried out. We don't know if fighter jets actually entered Iranian airspace and dropped bombs, or if they launched standoff missiles from outside of Iranian territory like they did during the 12-day war last summer. Now,
it's raw mad how the war is just like missiles and shit. Like, is war even fought with like soldiers anymore? Is that even a thing like that anymore? Or is it? Seems like it's just all drones and missiles. Like the missiles just go from one country to another, boom, or from one base to another.
This might sound like a boring technical detail, but it is important because Iran's air defenses are going to play a key role in this war. So we need to know if those air defenses were suppressed and destroyed, allowing these jets to fly into the country, or if some sort of electronic warfare prevented the Iranians from detecting the incoming attacks. Whatever the case is, the attacks made it through and landed in central Tehran. We have reports from Iraq of fighter jets roaring in the skies above, and we even have footage of what looks like Tomahawk cruise missiles flying towards Iran. Now, this video, I'm assuming, is from northern Iraq because the man in the video is speaking Kurdish.
Imagine that. Imagine you just seeing missiles just going past you, like knowing that it's going to a certain place. Like, yo, Brett, you just see that? Yo, where are those missiles going? People live a different life outside of the UK, you know. Different life altogether.
The Tomahawk missile is a powerful 1.5-ton missile that travels at a speed of up to 600 miles an hour. It flies at a low altitude, giving it the ability to sneak underneath radars, which might be why Iran didn't intercept them. It's unclear if these missiles were launched from the surface to the air or from a fighter jet, but we can assume that they were part of the initial strikes that hit Iran. As of now, there have been several attack waves on Iran by both the US and Israel. The first wave hit central Tehran near the presidential office. It's believed that the targets were either the president Masoud Pezeshkian, defense minister Aziz Nasirzadeh, and or the
Yo, Dash Cash, Wagwan.
supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei.
Trying to figure out some of this warship, bro.
There are very
I don't think this is even giving me the information that I need, to be honest. It's telling me that the missiles are coming from the US to Iran, but like, why? This is what I want to know. Why?
very weak reports claiming that the defense minister has been assassinated. There is no credible information to verify this. However, I do think it's worth sharing with you. According to Iranian
Just, yeah, like I said, just here chilling, bro. Chilling, tired.
sources, explosions were heard in Tehran's Pasteur district, where the highly secure compound housing the residence and office of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is located. Fars news agency said at least
Go on, explain it. Explain it. And then I can go from there, from your explanation.
7 missiles struck the area. However, according to both Al Jazeera and Reuters, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and Masoud Pezeshkian, the president of Iran, were not in Tehran and had already been transferred to a secure location. So we can assume that both of them are safe for now. Defense Minister Israel Katz said the state of Israel launched a preemptive attack against Iran to remove threats to the state of Israel. An Israeli defense official said the operation had been planned for months in coordination with Washington and that the launch date was decided weeks ago. This is an important detail which we'll return to later on. After the attacks, the airspace over the Middle East, primarily in Israel, Jordan, Iraq, and Iran, began to clear out to avoid the danger of getting hit in a retaliatory strike. During this period, however, there were reports of an Iranian MiG-29 flying over the skies of Tehran. If this is true, the MiG-29 is not in the sky to fight against American or Israeli jets, as it wouldn't be.
In summary, the reason why Iran wants to bomb UK and Dubai is because Iran requested for a facility to be built in the countries.
Be much of a contest. In fact, most of Iran's air force is outdated.
What did they want? Like a fucking a base?
If they are ever used, it would only be to intercept incoming missiles like the Tomahawk or drones. Finally, you had the second wave of Israeli attacks. Wait, you're probably wondering where I get my information from. How on earth do I get news like this in real time during the fog of war? Well, the truth is, I get it in like a million different ways. But one of my favorite, most important
So what did they want a base for? What was that in return? Is it because there was allies?
ways is ground news. I know what you're thinking. No shame. Well, I gotta pay the bills. But I don't feel bad because it's a great tool that I use all the time and I don't mind promoting it to you. Ground news is a news aggregator that brings
I'm not listening to these adverts, bro.
you against as on this topic and tells you the difference. Go ahead and scan the QR code on screen or go to ground.news/prop to get 40% off their Vantage plan. That's ground.news/prop for 40% off the Vantage plan. Now back to the video. The second wave of US-Israeli attacks saw strikes all over the western half of Iran, primarily in cities like Kermanshah, Khorramabad, Karaj, Qom, Isfahan.
I don't want to know what about the attacks. I want to know why.
This is a regional war that many people had forecast, but at the same time, in their heart of hearts, thought would never happen. But now we're experiencing it by the minute.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
So I'm gonna guess this is over like resources and like oil. I'm guessing that's why.
In essence, a regional war that everyone has feared has broken out throughout the Middle East when bombs were being dropped by both America and Israel in a very carefully planned operation starting in Tehran, but I think hitting as many as 20 different provinces inside Iran, and actually killed the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. And
so I've heard that this guy was a very powerful guy in Iran, and they've killed him not because he didn't die because like hiding or nothing like that. I heard he was just in his office doing what he was doing, knowing that he just wanted to work out his life, how it was going to be, and whatnot. This is the information that I'm getting, but he just knew that whatever his mission was going to be carried out, whether he was dead or alive. But he's like one of the top people in Iran. Am I right? Am I right to say that?
And we're seeing counterpunches from the Iranians right across the region. There is a report that in the south of Iran, a school has been struck. The other attacks look like they are mainly on the missile launch sites. So there's no particular area that's being spared at the present. Listening to President Trump's speech justifying the attacks.
Rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore.
The negotiations that the US and Iran were having in Geneva with the mediation of Oman were largely a feint and a device, because he clearly had made up his mind possibly a week ago to attack Iran. Iran's nuclear program was not the only issue on which President Trump was going to go to war. He's going to war on a much bigger agenda of removing Iran from and its current leadership.
It's just a game of power, innit? Ultimately, I know that it's just a game of power. Well, I just want to know, like, what's the strategies? You know what I'm saying? What's the potential next moves? Like, who's gonna wake up the beast? Like, when are we gonna get attacked? Or will we? Is it possible? You know what I'm saying?
Iran is trying to mount what it promised it would do, which is to attack American bases right the way through Kuwait, Bahrain, Riyadh, the UAE, everywhere that there are American bases. They have been firing missiles. I think this is a turning point. I think we're still learning the extent to which Donald Trump is a risk taker, not Trump 1.0. This is a different president. The idea that he's an isolationist has obviously been shown to be ridiculous. He's very much willing to work in league with Israel. This is very much an Israeli demand to go after the ballistic missiles and to eradicate Iran as a power in the Middle East. I find it personally, I feel always very ambiguous about Iran, because I detest the way in which they suppress human rights inside Iran, and I think the theocracy is antediluvian.
I heard, that if you like people have tried to go against the Iranian government before, and they've just 10,000 people just been gunned down. Like, you can't, in their country, you can't go against them, type shit. I mean, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I feel like every country's got their ways of dealing with things. You know what I mean? Like, not everything has to work in a Western world type way. You get me? And also, each country's got their different resources or their utilities or things that, you know what I mean, that make them valuable. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or like just their position on the map. According to the Iranian people that was protesting in Manchester, that other people in Iran wanted the president gone. Apparently, he's an Islamic extremist. Women are getting beaten and killed.
But also when you meet Iranians,
If they was refusing to cover up.
They are amazing people, and no one would want this war to be inflicted upon them and all these deaths to occur.
Yeah, man. Where do I go from here, man? I just want to know, like, who's the bad guys, man? Like, and when is the bombs gonna come this way? You get what I'm saying? I don't know how much danger we're in, man. It just doesn't feel very dangerous, if you get what I'm trying to say. And with the whole fucking Dubai thing, it just seems like there's just big cover-ups left, right, and center. Like, is Dubai under attack or not? But I feel like Dubai, the damage has already been done with Dubai, and I feel like everyone over there is trying to cover it up to make it seem as if like it's not as bad as it is. I mean, I don't feel like people need to die for it to be a bad situation, but a lot of that part of the Middle East is built up of tourism, and like that's where they make their money, from people bringing their money over there. And if people don't want to invest over there and they want to leave because they don't feel like it's safe, then that's kind of half of fucking Iran's job done. They're gonna choke them. They don't need to kill nobody. They can just it's just a threat of death is bad enough, you know. Is Dubai under attack? Let's see what kind of difference of stories we can get. Was this a missile or was it like debris or something?
They are literally running around on the tarmac like crazy, unloading all the baggage off the planes. I don't know what we're going to do. We haven't had any text messages. I assume we're going to have to check into a hotel somewhere. And then it's really annoying actually because we have got events and I'm just like, what have we got next week? We've got meetings and probably going to have to cancel them. We just don't really know anything. They've not.
Yeah, cancel your meeting, babes. You ain't get into that. I don't want to hear from no Love Islanders. See, I just like to know where most people get their information from, because see, YouTube, it's just full of these fucking news channels, yeah, and half of them I just don't believe them.
Get right to Trey Yanks. He's live in Tel Aviv. He's got more on the breaking news right now. Trey.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Good afternoon. We're following these reports out of Dubai that indicate an Iranian drone hit the U.S. consulate in Dubai. We understand that the building and many of these surrounding buildings had been fully or at least partially evacuated. And again, these are just initial reports coming in. Fox's Jennifer Griffin.
See, hitting a U.S. building, that's a precision. That's a precision strike, really, isn't it? Whether there's someone in there or not, like they're attacking the U.S. in Dubai.
Also confirming that a hit did take place in this area. As we look at this story and the Gulf countries under threat, just in the past 24 hours, this is the second hit on a U.S. consulate or embassy in the Gulf. Remember, overnight in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, 2 Iranian drones hit the compound, but that compound, again, also was evacuated beforehand.
See, it seems like Iran's just not to be messed with, bro. That's how it's coming across. That's how it's coming across. don't know why I'm typing in fucking the big one is coming soon. Trump's mysterious do. What's this?
What if I told you the war in Iran is one big conspiracy and it was completely avoidable? Trump and Netanyahu have been screaming for years that a nuclear Iran is an
Yes, me.
existential threat. And yes, from Israel's perspective, that fear is real. But here's the part that no one explains. Why did Iran pursue nuclear capability in the first place? To understand this, first we need to rewind. Since the 1979 revolution,
Yeah. I can barely understand what you're saying. Just about, mate. The fallout from the operations. Trump. And you know what I want to know as well? I want to know. It seems a bit shaky between Trump and Starmer. It seems a bit shaky between Trump and Starmer. What does that mean for the war? Like, Trump slams Starmer. This is not Winston Churchill with the enemy. See, look.
He was incredibly critical of Sir Keir Starmer, as well as the UK, saying they've been uncooperative. Let's bring in our US correspondent, Mark Stone. And Mark, when we see a leader visit Donald Trump at the Oval Office and give one of these press conferences, it's always filled with so many, quotes that Donald Trump comes out with. And one of them was that he said about Sir Keir Starmer that he's no Winston Churchill, amongst many other things, in terms of criticism directed at the UK and the British Prime Minister.
Yeah, what would we call that? A broadside, I think. It was almost...
You don't want to join in, does he? Now, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? What does that mean for alliances? What does that mean for, what does that mean?
Almost felt like Starmer's Zelensky Oval Office moment, and Starmer wasn't even here for it. Absolutely extraordinary language, devastating language from the president when it comes to the relationship with the United Kingdom. He said this, referring to Keir Starmer, is not Churchill that we are dealing with, not happy with the UK. What is all this about? It is about Britain's position, the British government's position, Keir Starmer's position on Iran, on the initial strike that took place at the weekend. It was the British government's view that that strike was not legal and that the UK could not support it because it did not believe there was an imminent enough...
Swear down, so US ain't going to be trading with Spain no more. Is that a big hit for Spain?
Threat from Iran to warrant military action under international law. And so the British decided not to grant the Americans the use of air bases. Now, Donald Trump kept referring to that island. It was almost as though he couldn't remember the name of it. That island is Diego Garcia. He conflated different things as well because he talks about the fact that the UK is handing sovereignty of that island away. That is true, and it's very controversial, but it's got nothing to do with the use of that airbase right now for the operation in Iran. The reason the British didn't allow the use of that is because, as I say, they had concerns over the legality of the war. The same is the case for the airbase at Fairford in the UK. Very, very controversial decision by the United Kingdom. Keir Starmer is busy arguing why he believes it's the case back in the UK, but the impact, the rupture that decision has had on the special relationship is profound. Now, the UK governments are...
Kevin Baird, not the leader of the opposition.
Mr. Speaker, can I pay tribute to our brave servicemen and women in the Middle East during this very difficult period?
Yeah.
Our bases in Cyprus and Bahrain have now been attacked. The US has taken...
The UK bases have been attacked.
Taken offensive action to destroy missile launch sites to defend British territory. Why will the Prime Minister not allow the RAF to do the same?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, can I make clear this is obviously an extremely serious situation, and I know the whole country is worried about the potential for escalation. They're worried about the impact on their lives, particularly when they see what's happening with energy.
That's right.
The family and friends of those who are caught in the region will be worried sick about them. And of course, we've got civilians and military personnel at risk in the region. We need to act, therefore, with clarity, with purpose, and with a cool head. The protection of UK nationals is our number one.
So if a UK base was hit, what do you think? Do you think that we should be involved or not? Was anyone killed? What have I done here, man?
Priority. And we're taking action to reduce the threat with planes in the sky in the region, intercepting incoming strikes, deploying more capability to Cyprus, and allowing US planes to use UK bases to take out Iran's capability to strike. What I was not prepared to do on Saturday was for the UK to join a war unless I was satisfied there was a lawful basis and a viable, thought-through plan. That remains my position.
So do you guys think that Keir Starmer is making the right decision? Do you think that he's for the UK, do you reckon he's making the right decision? Or should he be just in, should he just be saying, yo, if Trump's on funk, then I'm on funk?
That wasn't the question I asked him. Nobody wants to see an escalation. The fact is,
Who's this black woman? Who is she?
Mr. Speaker, our bases, in case they don't realize, our bases have already been attacked. Iran is trying to kill our servicemen and women. He is catching arrows rather than stopping the archer. That's what we're talking about.
And they're all just, yes, yeah. How come they do that, man?
Why is he asking our allies to do what we should be doing ourselves? We are, I would say to Labour MPs, we are in this war whether they like it or not. What is the Prime Minister waiting for?
See, this is where it's confusing for me now, like, because I'm listening to what she's saying and I'm making it right, but then I'm listening to what my man's saying and I'm like, you're right. So it's like, I can't just be, everyone can't be right. Do you get it? I need more information.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me.
Trump got told either hit Iran or he gonna get exposed and made to look like the worst pedophile Israel got him now. All of a sudden, Epstein files disappear. Now, see, that's a different rabbit hole altogether. And that potentially could be the truth. Anyway, it could be the truth. Like, that doesn't sound like too far-fetched these days now with all the shit that's coming out.
Give a little more detail because for a number of weeks now, we've been pre-deploying our capabilities to the region. In doing so, we've been liaising very closely with the United States as the House would have expected. Therefore, radar systems were pre-deployed. Ground-based.
Was Epstein like a spy for Israel? And Ghislaine Maxwell, isn't she from there? Isn't that's she's from Israel, isn't it? I'm sure she is.
Air defense was pre-deployed. Counter-drone systems were pre-deployed, and F-35 jets were pre-deployed. Mr. Speaker, that is why, since Saturday morning, multiple F-35s and Typhoons have been in operation not just in the Middle East, but across Cyprus. Further missions were flown overnight, Typhoons defending in particular Qatar, and F-35s defending other regional parties. We're resupplying our air defense missiles today. Wildcat helicopters with anti-drone capabilities will be in Cyprus this week, and HMS Dragon will be deployed to the Mediterranean. And of course, in agreement with the US, they're using our bases to conduct the operations to strike Iranian missiles and launchers. Mr. Speaker, that is the action that we are taking.
Oi, what's Mossad? Is that like a intelligence agency or something?
That is the agreement that we've reached with the United States to protect our nationals.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has read out
What do you hate about Keir Starmer? What do you hate about him?
a long list. It is not enough. He says that we are pre-deploying. The one ship which we are sending, HMS Dragon, is still in Portsmouth. The fact is the Type 45s cannot take out incoming missiles. This is not enough. He's read out a long list. The people who understand know it is not enough. He should be doing more. Yesterday, the Chancellor could have given more money to defence. Instead, I don't know why they're laughing. I don't know why that's funny.
yo, it must be funny to be in this little room here, bro. They go mental, blood.
Yes, not funny. Yesterday, the Chancellor could have given more money to defence. Instead, she gave more money for welfare. Their priorities are all wrong.
Their priorities are definitely wrong. They need to give more money for Ross Clark potholes. Not these fucking potholes. Blood clot, man.
Mr. Speaker, the priorities are...
Check out what Trump's saying where, bro. I'm sure we just did. You talking about before, the day before this? Or has he said something new again? Trump lashes out at Starmer over... Yeah. Why you're finally standing up to Donald Trump? This is one. Sky News today. This one. Trump says,
and we're doing very well on the war front, to put it mildly, I would say. Somebody said, on a scale of 10, where would you rate it? I said about a 15. And we're going to continue to do well. We have the greatest military in the world by far. And that was a tremendous threat to us for many years. 47 years they've been killing our people and killing people from all over the...
And I'm complaining about the potholes, and these lot are making fucking... Potholes is an understatement. They're making big fucking Dutch potholes in the ground.
The world, and I think we have great support. And I think if we didn't do it first, they would have done it to Israel and give us a shot if that was possible. And if we didn't terminate the worst deal, one of the worst deals ever made, the Obama nuclear deal, I call it the Obama nuclear deal, where he gave everything to Iran, including a nuclear weapon. It was a road to a nuclear weapon. Bad things would have happened 4 years ago, because they would have had a weapon 4 years ago if I didn't terminate that deal. So we're in a very strong position now, and their leadership is just rapidly going. Everybody that seems to want to be a leader, they end up dead. And it's an amazing thing that's taking place before your eyes.
He's being controlled, isn't it? So would you say that the Israelis rule the world? And obviously, when we're talking about the Israelis, we're talking about one type of people.
Because for 47 years, we were pushed around, and we shouldn't have been. And I think I can say, and you see it as well as I do, you see the tremendous progress that's being made. Their missiles are being wiped out rapidly. Their launchers are being wiped out. They're attacking their neighbors. They're attacking their, in some cases, allies, or not so long ago allies. And, you know, it's really...
That's what I heard as well still. That's what they're doing. They're trying to cut off the water supply to the Middle East, to most of the tourist spots. Choke them out. They ain't got no Ross Clark water, just bare deserts and sand. Man out there drinking sand.
Yeah, a nation that was out of control.
They want bouncer drinking sand.
And they would have used it on us if we let them, if we waited any longer. A big factor was Soleimani, the killing of Soleimani in my first term. And maybe the biggest factor was the rebuilding of the military in my first term. And then the B-2s hit the, and I use the word obliterate because it really was. It was.
Yo, if petrol prices go up, I'm just going to go and buy an electric car, bro. Fuck that. You reckon they'll be affected? That's not going to be affected, isn't it? It's mad though, because as much as the oil can go up, it would be worse back in the day, innit? Now there's alternatives.
The complete obliteration of their
Man said at least his shorts will probably fit then, fuckery. I've seen him do a whole episode on pum pum shorts.
nuclear potential, and that set them back very, very seriously. If we didn't hit within 2 weeks, they would have had a nuclear weapon. If we didn't do the B-2 attack a number of months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon. And when crazy people have nuclear weapons, bad things happen. So we're in very
including you, mate. Including you.
Good shape now. I want to let you know that, and we will continue forward. But it's a great display of military strength, and I'm very proud to have, with some of the people in the room, both senators and congressmen, we rebuilt, and women, we rebuilt our military during the first term, and we're using it a little bit more than I thought we would have to. Venezuela worked out really great. We have a wonderful relationship with the president and the various representatives, and we're taking out hundreds of millions of barrels of oil, and that goes to our benefit and to Venezuela's benefit. They'll be doing better than they've ever done before, and we will get a big piece of that, and we'll also make life wonderful for the people of Venezuela who have been very, very badly hit. So that's a lot said in a short period of time, but you can witness it for yourself.
Swear down. I don't know much about this Nico person, Who is he? Where's he come from? Is this him here?
So water is a huge issue. It doesn't matter if Iran kills American soldiers, destroys American military. It doesn't have to do that. All it has to do is destroy the desalination plants. And then the GCC is destroyed, okay?
Bro, imagine the people who have all this Dubai real estate, how they're feeling right now. That makes sense. The war is going to be over in 24 hours. Top voice saying 40, it's just a clout chase. Yeah, if you have a bunch of property there, I can understand. But
Jiang. Is that the guy that just came up on the screen then? Is it this one? Jiang Professor or Jiang Shouquin? Am I saying that right? Shouquin. What do you want me to watch? This. I think this is the actual video, but I think that Sneeko guy was streaming it. So watch this.
I hope everyone had a nice break, and welcome back to the end of the world. So,
oh my God, he started it like that. He says, welcome back to the end of the world. You sure we don't just watch this one, bro? Because the man just started by saying, welcome back to the end of the world. That's mental start. That's mental. You don't skip that when man says that. And he said it casually. He said it casually, Avon.
as you know, World War III has started. The United States and Israel have started to attack Iran. And we are now in the 4th day of this war. And we can expect this war to last for many weeks, possibly also for many years. But I promise you that after this war is done, the world will never be the same again.
Ooh. So we've got to where we need to get to. Jiang Zhou-Quinn. This is the guy that's going to have all the information, bro, because the way that he's just delivering this, I'm locked in. He's saying stuff, and because he's Chinese as well.
So what we will do these next few weeks is use game theory and understand and analyze the geopolitical situation. And so I'm going to teach you the ideas, the theories, the techniques to understand the world around you and make predictions. And we
yes, sir. We're locked in, sir. We're here with you.
Can know if our analysis is correct because all this is happening in real time, and so we can test it against reality. All right. So let's go over some basic facts about what's happened so far. So in the early morning of Saturday in Tehran, the Israelis and Americans launched a decapitation strike against the Ayatollah Khamenei, who is the supreme leader of Iran. Now, there are arguments and disputes about as to what happened. The Americans and Israelis said that they had real intelligence about where the leader was, and so they sent airplanes to just bomb the crap out of the place. They also had a spy who was able to record the body of the dead Ayatollah. And then this was announced. At first, the Iranians denied this, and the Iranians insisted he was still alive. But eventually, state media admitted that he did die in the airstrike. But then what they also said is that the Ayatollah, he's 86 years old, and he chose to die. He could have gone to mosque.
See, he chose to die. He's 86.
But instead, he chose to stay in Tehran and die for his people. But not only that, but he died along many of his relatives. He died along with his daughter, his son-in-law, his grandchildren. So the entire,
might get a copyright for this. You reckon?
Many of the family died in this assault. Also, there's been reporting that he had prostate cancer. Okay, so he was going to die fairly soon as well. So what you need to understand first about the war is that even though the Americans and Israelis claim great success in decapitating the leadership of the Iranians, from the Iranian perspective, this is a martyrdom, okay?
It was written.
And so the religion of the Iranians is called Shia Muslim. And this is different from Sunni Muslim. So Sunnis are the majority. They're about 9% of all Muslims in the world. The Shia have always been the minority. And as such, they've always been persecuted. So in the Shia faith, the core value, the force that binds everyone together and gives them purpose and meaning in life, that galvanizes them into action, is the idea of martyrdom, which forces jihad. To sacrifice yourself for your religion, sacrifice yourself for the common good. So think of the death of Khamenei as a sacrifice, a self-sacrifice, in order to motivate the Iranians.
Did you like know this? I'm at the loop, boy. So there's two separate types of Muslims: Shias and Sunnis, and Shias are about sacrifice
in this war, okay? So that's the first thing you need to understand. That for the Iranians, this is not a geopolitical war. This is not an economic war. This is not a war of resistance. This is a jihad, okay? It's a war against the great Satan to avenge their leader. They will fight to the death, all right? That's number one.
That's dangerous people, that is. That's dangerous people. That's people with real heart. Like, their purpose is bigger than their actual body. There's, you know what I mean? Like, that is real madmen. You get what I'm saying? Real madmen, bro. Like,
number two is this. Also that morning, when the Ayatollah was killed, they really struck a school in the south of Tehran, killing about
there's some next level stuff in it.
150 school children. These are girls in primary school. And again, there's a lot of debate and argument as to what happened. This really said that, first of all, the school was next to a military base. We were targeting the military base. And second of all, it wasn't us which struck the school. It was a air defense missile that went off course. Okay? And the Iranians insisted no. The Israelis purposefully attacked the school to kill the school children. And then you're like, why would the Israelis do that? But then these few years, well, we've seen what they've done in Gaza, in Palestine, to the Palestinians. And it's pretty consistent what the Israelis have been doing. All right? So this action against the Israelis, it's meant to show to themselves and the world that we are now all in. Okay?
Why, sir? It's like, is all fair in love and war. Like, if you're an ally of Israel and they're bombing schools purposely, isn't there like no international laws for this? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay? We've made the sacrifice. We are now committed to this war, to winning this war at all costs. And this action has also provoked the Iranian people to resist with their full might, okay? So I want you to keep this in mind. And again, we don't have complete evidence that it's the Israelis who did this, but given past actions from the Israelis, this is fairly consistent with what they've done, okay? So we can assume that this is something the Israelis did. Why they did this, what the purpose is something we will discuss as we move on.
Yeah, man, it's gotta be war crimes. It definitely has to be war crimes because this is fucking. You can't do that, bro. You can't be doing that.
Okay, it's very complicated. Next, I want to show you this. This is Dubai, and Dubai is considered one of the wealthiest, safest cities in the world. There are thousands, tens of thousands of Westerners who move to Dubai because it's clean, you don't pay any taxes, you make a lot of money, and there are great restaurants. And this is really the economic model of Dubai. It's one of the GCC countries, okay? The Gulf coastal countries.
Let me ask you, yeah, does this put you off going to Dubai? Everything that you're saying? Like, has anyone been in Dubai, and would this war stop you from potentially moving over there?
And for the longest time, Dubai had a really good deal because they were under the protection.
Yes, Joss Lou.
Of the American military. So they didn't have to pay for defense. And then they were in the Middle East, which is the oil producing center of the world. And so they focus on aviation. They focus on logistics. They focus on finance, on tourism. They became extremely wealthy, right? I'm not sure if you've taken Emirates, one of the best airlines in the world. So their airport, Dubai Airport, is the busiest in the world. And Dubai, for the longest time, was flourishing under American protection. And Dubai said to the world, listen, we're like Switzerland. We're neutral. We don't want any involvement in any wars. We're here just to take care of our citizens, to make sure everyone has a good time, to make money. And then right after the war started, the Iranians attacked the GCC, okay? Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, they attacked these places. And these places were like, what's going on? We're neutral, man. We're not involved in this war. And the airport was shut down in Dubai. At one point, the rich people in Dubai were willing to pay about $250,000 US just to get on a plane and get out of there. Okay?
How much? How much are they paying? 350,000 just for a flight. I need to make some more money. That £350,000 flight is all I need. Just give me that £350,000. Yeah, you stay where you are. Just give me the £350,000, or give me the 350 and I'll give you a piggy bank out of the country. Blood clot. I'll grow rings myself for that.
So the reality is this. For the longest time, Dubai had a reputation for being safe, and that's why people moved their money there. Guess what, guys?
One missile costs 1.3 mil. Let me see if I got any paper in here. Yo, I can make one cheaper than that.
What the Iranians did it's dead. Dubai as a city, in the long term, it is dead. Because you're a wealthy Westerner, you're not going to move to a place where it could be attacked anytime by the Iranians. You might move to Singapore, you might move to Hong Kong, Japan, South America, but you're not moving to Dubai, okay? So the big question for us is, why did the Iranians do this? It was the Israelis and the Americans who attacked you. Why go after the GCC? All right? And not only that, but they're escalating the attacks against the GCC. So this is something that we will look at very closely today. Well, the short answer is because these places, even though they pretend to be neutral, they house the American military. They allow the Israelis and the Americans to use their airspace to attack Iran.
That's why Iran is like, shut up, man. You lot ain't neutral. Shut your mouths. Shut your mouth. We're going to choke out your water. Yeah. Stop acting like you're thingy when you're conspiring with the enemy. Shut your mouths, dickheads.
All right? So this is Bahrain. Now, Bahrain is interesting, okay? Because I want you guys to remember this. But Bahrain will probably be one of the major centers of this conflict. Because, first of all, this is the American Fifth Fleet. All right, this is their naval base in the Middle East. And as you can see, the Iranians are attacking it with missiles. And it's being blown up. Bahrain is interesting because it has about 50% or even more, okay, Shia, which is the religion of the Iranians. But the people in charge are the Sunnis. And so what makes this strike really important from our perspective is, first of all, not only are the Iranians attacking U.S. military assets, not only are they destroying the economies of the GCC, but they're also trying to ignite a religious war, right? Because you're Shia, you're loyal to the Ayatollah. And if he's dead, then you must, as a religious obligation, now commit jihad against your enemies.
See, this is where it gets all techie, blood, because that's when people start throwing themselves as missiles. Fuck the 1.3 mil. I'll turn myself into a missile. Start strapping up, blood. That's when it gets mental.
And it's no different in other religions where, listen, if you want to kill the Pope, the Catholics would be really angry at you and they would want to kill you, right? So now you have the Shia who will probably
kill the Pope. I don't think nobody's going to be angry, blood. I know what you're trying to say, sir, but I don't think no one's rolling out for the Pope.
Eventually arrive.
Or do you reckon? You reckon they are? What do you reckon of the British Army anyway, man? Is it any good? Can't see a lot of people even fucking wanting to join the army these days.
Creating a revolution in Bahrain, okay? So I think Bahrain will be the first to fall. Dubai will probably go bankrupt, okay? But in the long term, we can expect the entire...
They have to destroy stuff so it can be rebuilt better for more jobs. It's a big plan, I reckon. What, Dubai? You reckon?
GCC area, including Saudi Arabia, to eventually collapse, okay? And so this is something we'll use game theory to understand. All right, let's continue. So,
yeah, no one ain't joining the British Army, bro. There's probably about 5 people in there, bro.
We will know how this war develops just based on geography, okay? So this is a map. And this map, even if you don't really know the war, even if you don't know the participants, even if you don't know the weaponry, this map will tell you exactly how this war will progress. All right, so some certain things to keep in mind about this map. This is what we call this area, okay? Really small, it's 33 kilometers wide, okay? People can swim across it. It's really, really narrow, okay? This small area, guys, it's called the Strait of Hormuz. All right? And it's important because it's really the center of the world. This one area is the nexus, the pivot.
I'm going to do IRL stream still. I was meant to do one and go to that place, man, where those black guys feel like the Bible's black stuff. But just had too much on, man. I got to find a time, man. I got a lot on at the minute, but it's something I really want to do still. But yeah, just build up my audience, and then you'll see me do this stuff still, definitely.
Of the world. Let me explain why. First of all, from the GCC, you have 20.
I would go to Dubai though, see this war stuff. I'd go to one of these war countries, I'd go to one of these war countries just to see what it's like. I just don't know. I don't know if I fear this stuff. Maybe if I was in the middle of it, I might piss my pants. But the way I feel right now, it's interesting. You get it? Like I wouldn't be against going towards it. You know what I mean? Wouldn't be the worst way to die.
20% of all the world's oil flowing through this narrow strait. Where does it go, guys? It goes to Asia, India,
Pakistan. Imagine I just went Iran with my sinners t-shirt on. Y'all get smoked.
Pakistan, South Korea, China, Japan. India depends on 60% of its oil from this area. China depends on 40%. Japan, 75%.
Yo, that's by respect, man. I don't even try to be funny, but you find me funny, man. Yeah, man. Respect, man.
Prime Minister Takaichi of Japan has said that, listen, if the Strait of Hormuz closes, we will run out of oil.
Yeah, Little J's my dog, man. Trust me, we've been planning some streams. I just gotta make it happen. But you know what? You lot should get onto Little J as well, man, because he gets a bit lazy at times. You get me? He gets a bit lazy, so just fucking get onto him, and then we'll get something done. And Blake's as well. Oh yeah. He done it with the playing those games and all that, innit? Yeah, I spoke to Blake's. I spoke to him yesterday, actually. Yeah, spoke to Blake's yesterday. We need to link up as well. It's just finding the time, bro. There's so much going on at the same time. It's just I've got to figure out a way of just I need a team, bro. Take no risks, innit? That's who he's with, innit? Armani. Take no risk.
In about 8-9 months. The entire Japanese economy.
Yo, forget the IR stream. Professor Yin Yang Shin Wang King is speaking. You get what I'm saying?
Would collapse.
I raw fancy a Chinese as well, Or I want Chinese food.
In 8-9 months, if the Strait of Hormuz were to close. And guess what? The Iranians have closed the Strait of Hormuz. Okay? So we can expect that the entire global economy will suffer greatly over the next few months. All right, so that's point number one. Point number two is, okay, so the GCC said
some chicken fried rice. Trust me.
sends oil across the Strait of Hormuz, and what do they get back in return? Food, guys.
Food. You reckon my man can make the proper Chinese food?
All right, so people don't appreciate the GCC, but it is really the linchpin of the American empire. Because what is the American empire? The American empire is the petrodollar. All right? The idea of the petrodollar is this. The US dollar is worth nothing. It's only valuable when people want it. But the GCC says that if you want oil from us, you have to pay us in US dollars. Okay? Then that is the basis of the...
Oi, imagine when the Chinese enter the war, though, they're just gonna fucking... You just see robot men just holding you hostage like, freeze! You know what I'm saying? Trust me, you can't mess with the Chinese, I reckon they've got the best resources for, you know what I mean? Like things for war. They have to have the Chinese. You can't mess with them, bro.
Value of the US dollar. So, if the GCC collapses, the American economy and the American empire both collapse at the same time. The problem, though, is the GCC is an artificial construct of empire. It does not exist naturally. Why? Because there's no food, there's no oil, no water. Okay, guys? No food, no water. So these cities are able to grow in the millions because of all this.
Yo, Joss Lou, your mind's in a mad place. You're thinking Animal Kingdom, some woman beating an animal or something. That's what you're thinking. I know you are. I've seen it on Netflix though. I was gonna watch it, but my brain can't sit down and watch the whole series. I don't know, man. But I've seen it though. It looks good still.
Petrodollars.
But yo, concentrate, bro. The Chinaman's talking.
Flowing in. If you close off the Strait of Hormuz, there's no food coming in, right? They're all going to starve.
Who's out of hand and out of order? Who's out of hand and out of order? You're out of hand and out of order. Big J, who's out of hand and out of order? For what? For what reason?
How much food does the GCC get from overseas? 80%. 80% of all the food it consumes comes from overseas, that it imports. It doesn't grow by itself, it imports. All right?
Imports.
So the Strait of Hormuz is really key. And again, the Iranians will close it in order to strangle the global economy and therefore bankrupt the American empire. All right? Second thing you will notice is these mountains. These mountains is what we call Iran. All right, this is Iran. This is G.
Any, yo, if there's any supporters of Iran or Israel in the chat, we're staying neutral here. If you're not gonna argue and fight, go somewhere else. We're neutral. Yeah. Do not cut off our food supplies and do not try to stop our water.
GCC. Okay, this is not a fair matchup, right? Because these are mountains. And what can you do in mountains? Well, you can hide rocket bases. You can hide drone bases. You can hide missiles. And that's the entire Iranian offensive strategy, all right? From here...
Sick. Imagine that. You just got a rocket base just hidden in the mountains. Imagine your rocket base hidden and then the enemy just comes, try hide their rocket base in there and you just see them. Both people hope that they got their burner on them. Cause someone, you know what I'm saying? It's going down.
They can hide missiles and drones from which to attack the GCC. And what are they attacking? They're attacking three things, right? They're attacking American military bases. American military bases. That's number one. Okay. Is it possible for the Americans to defend against these attacks? The answer is no. It's not. It's the silliest thing in the world. You have all these bases in the Middle East, but you cannot defend them against the Iranians. That's kind of strange. Okay, but that's number one. Number two is oil and energy. How hard is it to blow up an oil field with a drone? Not hard at all. Can you defend these oil fields? No, you cannot. All right. Number three, and this is most important, is water. Okay. You guys don't know this, but the GCC has little access to fresh water. So the only way that it can produce water is what we call desalination plants. Okay. These factories that take salt water and then through an electrochemical process turn it into fresh water for the population to use. 60% of the water supply in the GCC comes from desalination plants, okay? 60%. Is it hard to blow up a desalination plant using a drone? The answer is, it's very easy. You understand? Okay? So you have this absurd situation where Iran is a mountain fortress where it can hide its offensive capacity, and the GCC, it's just this desert, this flat desert, and it is exposed to attack, and there's nothing it can do about it, okay? So at any point in this war, the Iranians can choose to just destroy the entire GCC, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it.
Yo, Kabu.
Okay, but Iran also has a weakness, okay? And this is fundamental. So Iran also has a water problem, okay? So for the longest time, they suffered a drought issue, okay? Just climate change. And so what the plan of the Israelis and Americans is destroy the water supply of the Iranians. Because the fortress, it is a mountain fortress, but it can also be a mountain prison as well, where people are trapped inside with no access to water. Okay, so what we're going to see right now, we're already seeing.
Man, just told me about United losing 2-1 to Newcastle, and Newcastle had 10 men. That's just pissed me off.
Attacks on civilian infrastructure, hospitals. In the future, you'll see attacks on water supply, on dams, on reservoirs, on power plants. The idea is to make Iran so inhabitable that the people will have to rebel against the people, or there'll be a refugee crisis in Iran. Okay? So as you can see from this map, this war, it is the end of the world.
This is like proper strategic. You know, like they've got them madmen strategizers like, yo, if we want to win the war or if we want to cause damage, what we got to do is, and they start looking at the map, start planting things there, cutting off that there, stopping that from coming through there. This is just bare information just collected up and knowing that, yo, you can cause someone damage by just making the right moves. This is proper monopoly.
Okay? Both sides have the potential to destroy each other. It's really a question of how far do they want to go? Right? We can also say this is almost a game of chicken. Okay?
Chess. Yeah, it is. It's chess. It's chess, definitely. This ain't checkers. It's chess.
We can blow each other up. How far do you want to go? And the problem is this. The problem is that the Iranians are Shia.
Oh my gosh. Now he's breaking it down proper still. Because the Iranians are just like, yo, blow us up. We don't care. But we'll blow you up. How about that? How about we just blow you up? Yeah? Who's gonna care more?
Which believes in martyrdom. And you've killed the religious leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei. So they're willing to go very, very far. The GCC countries are Muslim, but they're materialistic. They love money. And also, most of the population are expatriates, foreigners. 90% of Dubai are foreigners. Guess what's going to happen if they suffer? They're going to run away. Okay? So this is not a fair matchup. The big question that people have is, first of all, are the Americans going to use ground troops? Because the only way that you can defeat Iran is by using ground troops, okay? That's a big question we will look at in the next few weeks. Will America send its army, 500,000, 2 million soldiers to topple the government? Okay, that's question number one. Question number two, nuclear weapons. If you're losing a war, would you choose to use nuclear weapons? Okay, that's another big question that we have, okay? Now, another big question that we have is who gets involved? Because this situation is so dire that Europe, okay, specifically Germany, France, and Britain are talking about entering this war. And guess what? If that happens, it is possible that Russia and China will also enter this war on the side of the Iranians. This is World War III, okay? Because of the importance of the Strait of Hormuz, because of the importance of the Middle East, everyone has to get involved at some point. And we're going to use game theory to really try to understand what's happening on the ground and where this could lead us. Okay? All right. You guys understand?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir. We understand. It's World War III. 4. 3? 3? 3. Or 4? Is it 4?
All right. Let's continue. Okay, so again, there are American bases all over the Middle East. And originally, these bases were established to protect them from basically their own people, okay? these are monarchies that were imposed on these nations by the Anglo-American Empire, the British first, and then the Americans came to support these monarchies. And so they provide defense. But then you're like, wait a minute here. I mean, didn't we just say that these American bases can actually defend these people, that they're exposed? And the answer is yes, that's true. But remember, like the American military was built during the Cold War. Okay? And the Cold War was a war between the Soviet Union and America. And so the Cold War was defined as something called MAD, mutually assured destruction, because both had nuclear weapons, okay? So they didn't really go to war against each other. And so in other words, these bases aren't really meant to defend these nations from other enemies. They're really meant to impose American authority in the Middle East, okay? And it's the idea of this. It's the idea that empire, it is really a image. It is a hallucination. It's just an idea. Empire is it's an aura of invincibility and invisibility, okay? If you fear it, then you obey it. But it's not really designed to fight a war, okay? And so that's why we have this absurd situation. And because there are so many bases in the GCC, that gives the Iranians the perfect pretext to attack them in order to destroy the GCC economy, which will destroy the American empire, right? All right, so this is how the war is shipping out, okay? So the red is the Israelis and the Americans. The yellow are the Iranians. And as you can see, the Iranians are attacking everywhere, primarily Israel, okay? But also...
Who am I voting for? Who are you voting for? Voting for where? What vote? Where's the vote?
I was going to see...
Mobiles. I'm good. I'm good.
A lot of focus on Bahrain and Qatar. And again, the intention is to destabilize the economy and the government. Okay, it's to try to get as much instability as possible. All right?
Just another day in the hood. It's another day in the motherfucking hood.
Okay, and as you can see, the Americans and Israelis are focused on Tehran. And so the Americans and the Israelis use something we call shock and awe. And the very idea of shock and awe is you decapitate the enemy. You cut off the head, the body will fall down, okay? The problem, though, is, again, the Iranians see this as a religious war. And so the Iranians have announced total war, okay? And so what this means is that right now, command and control in Iran is decentralized. There's no one person telling everyone what to do. Every region has its own...
I told you. I'm not scared of the war. I've been through it already.
Own orders, has its own strategy. And so if you knock out Tehran...
I'm like the... What's my man's name that died in Iran? What will be type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone else keeps on going. So if you take off the head, it doesn't change anything. Okay? But unfortunately, the Israelis and Americans use this as a military doctrine. Military doctrine just means how you design your military for what purpose. And so even though the Americans seem like an invincible army, they are not equipped to fight a 21st century war against drones, against destabilization, against religious fanatics.
Time straight.
Okay, they're just not. All right. But unfortunately, because of military doctrine, they're going to keep on attacking Tehran. Now, the great irony of all this is that the Iranians who would be most supportive of regime change, are actually in the cities because they are educated, they're progressive. The people who are most fundamentally against you, will fight you to the death, are religious fanatics, the Shia militants living in the rural areas. Okay? So this is a really silly thing where you are actually destroying those who will most likely support you, and you're leaving alone those who are most likely to commit jihad against you. All right? Any questions so far, guys? Are you clear? All right. So
yeah. Yes, sir. It's talking to us, No one says any questions. We're just at the back of the class, talking to each other, and having jokes and laughter. I'm supposed to be listening to the teacher. And one of you that made joke about chicken fried rice to the supply teacher. You like a fuckery.
Another idea that I want you guys to understand is the idea of asymmetry. Asymmetry. All right, so what is asymmetry? Asymmetry means that the two sides are choosing to fight different wars using different techniques because one is much stronger than the other, okay? America is a great empire. It has unlimited resources. It has the USD. It controls the world, right? Iran is a country that has been under economic sanctions for the past 45 years. It's poor. Its technology is very limited, okay? But as we learn in this class, actually, those nations that are poor actually have more energy. They're more open, and they're more cohesive. All right, so let me give you an example. This is what we call the Shahad drones. Shahad drones. Each of these drones costs $50,000 at most, okay? At most.
$50,000 for a drone. Don't you know you can go into Amazon? Go on Amazon, pick up a DJI drone. A good one you can get for about $2. Sure, you could strap some guns onto that.
Can go as cheap as $35,000 US. But one of them is $50,000. As you can see, you can fit a lot of these drones to a truck that can go anywhere in Iran, and they can hide anywhere. All right?
Them drones are massive, And that's not the drones with the remote control from the shops. That's not the ones that are bringing in the packages in jail. This is just not the same thing, is it?
So the thing to understand is, first of all, these drones are cheap. They're easy to make. They make about 500 a day. Okay, and estimates are about there's 80,000 right now that the Iranians have. So they can go on for a long, long time. Okay, and one of these drones, again, can knock out a desalination plant. It can knock out an oil field. It can knock out a hotel. It can do a lot of damage. Okay, and it's easily transportable. You can hide it anywhere. You can use it from anywhere. Okay, and that's what the Iranians are using as an offensive weapon. And how do the Americans defend against this? They use something called a FAD, right? Right, guys? This is what they use. FAD. FAD stands for Thermal High Altitude Air Defense. And they also have like Patriot systems. There's a lot, okay? The thing that you need to know about the system is it's really expensive. This missile, guys, costs $1 million. $1 million.
You didn't even need to write that down. We heard you. We heard you.
So there's this $50,000 drone coming your way, and you throw a $1 million missile at it, okay? And often these missiles miss, so you have to throw 2 or 3
Respect, Avon. I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Missiles at it, okay? So you're spending $2 to $3 million on each $50,000 that the Iranians spend. That's kind of silly. Second thing you'll notice is that this thing is really big and really slow.
Lava.
And therefore, you can't really move it around. Therefore, it's pretty easy for the Iranians to spot where this is and attack it. And
lava.
And when these things blow up, that's a lot of money, guys. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Okay? Then you're like, what? But this makes no sense. You know the Iranians have drones. They've had drones for like 10 years. You've also seen drones used in the Russia-Ukraine war to devastating effect. Why don't the Americans know this? Why did they prepare? Okay, and again, it has to do with military doctrine. Because military doctrine determines how you fight a war, it determines on your bureaucracy, and it determines how you spend your resources, okay? And unfortunately, the Americans are used to fighting something called the Cold War, right? And the Cold War, because you can...
Cold War is what fucking Bouncer and Clue was fighting against Young Spray.
Actually fight the war. You can actually use kill each other because then you people use nuclear weapons. The Cold War was about flexing. Flexing. Okay? You see how big and powerful I am? Me! Okay?
That's what Clue and Bouncer was doing to Young Spray. Flexing the daily updates on them.
All it was. These weapon systems are designed to scare the crap out of you. They are designed to impress you. And as a result, they cost a lot of money, and they really don't do anything, all right? So that's the entire American military. It costs a lot, and it doesn't really do anything. And it's not resilient. It's not innovative. It's not open, all right? Also, the other thing I have to say this, okay, is if you look at the American military, it's corrupt. So this is really about corruption. So the Americans don't really care about winning a war. What they care about is spending as much money as possible because then they get a cut. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why the Americans are in the situation as they are. All right, let's continue. All right. So something that people don't really talk about, but you need to understand, it's the water issue in the GCC, in the Middle East, in Iran. All right. So this is a map of the world. And if you are light blue, Brazil, Canada, you have nothing to worry about because you have a lot of water, a lot of fresh water, very little population. All right. So 100% just means 100% water stress just means that you drink as much water as the environment produces. Okay? So you want to be below 100% to be sustainable. Ideally, you want to be at 10%, okay? If it goes above 100%, it means that you are drinking more water, using more water than the environment actually produces. Okay? So you're putting stress on the environment. So 20% is really bad, right? Because you're using twice as much water as the environment produces. Guess what, guys? Look at the Middle East, okay? Egypt, 6,420%. Saudi Arabia, 883%.
Yo, he's going mad with that pen. He's going nuts.
All right? Bahrain, almost 4,000%. Dubai, 17,000%. All right? So water is a huge issue. Again, it doesn't matter if Iran kills American soldiers, destroys American military. It doesn't have to do that. All it has to do is destroy the desalination plants. And then the GCC is destroyed, okay?
See, it's making a lot more sense to me now. It's making a lot more sense. Like, the strategy is we don't need to kill people. I mean, if they want to, then they can, innit? But, like, I was looking at the missiles and thinking, yo, why are they not hitting Dubai, or why are they not hitting this, that, and the other? Like, this seems like some mad conspiracy in some other way to this, that, and the other. And really, technically, these are just, they're just playing the game of chess. Like, for now, like, killing humans is not something that they need to do. They need to cut off the resources and choke everyone. That's what they're doing, innit? That's what they're attempting to do anyway, innit?
But it's also true that Iran has water issues. 72% is pretty bad. Okay? So even though the Iranians could destroy the GCC much faster than the Americans could destroy Iran, Iran is still in trouble, okay? So let me give you an example of this. This is like, So this is another map that shows you the issue of water scarcity, okay? And it's just basically the Middle East, okay? The biggest issue in the future is water, okay? And that's where the geopolitical tensions will arise in the future over water. India is also affected as well, okay? All right. So let's look at the map, guys. This is called Lake Urmia in northern Iran. It's the 6th largest saltwater lake in the world, or it used to be. Okay, this is what it was in 1984. This is the shallow, this is the deep, okay? You guys see that?
Yep.
It's really big, right? 20 years later, guys, this is what it looks like. There's no more water here. You can walk from here over to there, okay? There's some water over here, but it's shallow now. That's how serious the water issue is in Iran. And that's the weak point that the Americans and the Israelis will attack. All right? They want to make sure that Iran has no access to fresh water, which will cause devastation in their nation. Okay, that's strategy number one. Strategy number two is this. This is a map of...
Yo, it's mad, yeah? How does he know this information? Because I actually believe him. But, like, do they... Like, is it just obvious that's what they're doing? Like, is it that obvious? Because if it's this obvious, how come it's just being played out and people just know? You know what I'm saying? I know what I mean when I say that, man.
The different ethnic minorities in Iran. As you can see, it's a very diverse place. In the center are the Persians, but you also have 10 other groups as well. And in the borderlands, it's basically a different country, right? Like, these are basically different countries. And so these places have more common areas with their neighbors than they do with Iran. Okay, so the second weakness of Iran. The first is the water. The second is the ethnic makeup of the country. So the strategy of the Americans and the Israelis moving forward is to destroy Iran as a coherent nation state, divided into ethnic enclaves, and have them fight over water. That is the grand plan of the Israelis and the Americans. Okay. All right. This is the vision where Persia is limited, and then all these other places are sponsored by the Americans and the Israelis. They're given money, they're given weapons, they're given political support, and then this war will wage over water forever. Okay? And this is how you destroy Iran and make sure Iran is no longer a viable threat to you. That is the plan of the Americans. Okay? As you can see, it's a pretty evil plan. And that's why they have not announced it. Right? Because if you announce it, you're like, why are you doing this? What did the Persians, what did the Iranians ever do to you to warrant you coming and destroying their civilization? And the answer is nothing, right? So the Americans, Israelis will never admit they're doing this. But if you look at the map of water supply, of ethnic tensions, this is the optimal game theory strategy for them to use against Iran. It doesn't make sense. This is a long-term plan that they have in place. And it's all moving towards this plan. But now the question then is, how can the Iranians respond to this? And the answer is this. This is a map of the Muslim world, okay? So the light green are the Sunni people, okay? That's 90% of the entire Muslim population, about 2 billion people, okay? Then you have in dark green, the Shia. So as you can see, the main place of the Shia is Iran, okay? Iran is one of the few Shia nations in the world. But you can also see from this map that Shia are spread throughout the world, okay? And so the first thing that the Iranians want to do is create a jihad to unite all the Shia against the American empire. All right, so what they want to do is create an uprising. And it's already happening, guys. The Shia in Pakistan stormed the American embassy in Pakistan, and the Americans killed a lot of people, okay? The Shia have attacked the American embassy in Iraq. The American embassy are being attacked in a lot of places, right? So the first strategy is to create an international global jihad of the Shia against the American empire. And it's already happening. It will continue for a long time because the Americans have killed the Khamenei, okay? And that requires vengeance.
Vengeance. These are madmen.
The other thing, though, is that it can unify the Muslim world. Okay? If you look at this map, most of the Muslim world is actually run by dictatorships that are not popular at all, okay? And they're allowed to exist because of the American empire, right? You go to Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Algeria, these places, they're all run by clients of the American empire, right? So if you rally the people who hate their governments and you overthrow them, then that makes Iran the leader of the Islamic world. Not just the Shia world, but the Islamic world. And this creates something called Pax Islamica. That is the end goal, guys. Okay? If you do that, then you don't have to worry about the Americans and the Israelis anymore. All right? So the Israeli game plan, the American...
You reckon he's right about this part? You reckon that they're trying to control the world from Iran? Because how can they even do that?
The game plan is to fracture Iran into ethnic enclaves, and they'll fight over water for the rest of their lives, and they'll all die. The Iranian game plan is to create a religious war, a crusade, that unifies the Shia people, that overthrows the American empire and establishes something called the Pax Islamica. All right? All right. So, again, the key is the GCC. All right? So the game plan is this. You have to destroy the GCC. Why? Because the GCC is the linchpin of the American...
Yo, my fam, where you been, man? Where you been, my brother?
Empire. So what the GCC does is this. It sells oil, and then for US dollars. Where does it put US dollars? It puts US dollars into the American stock market. All right, so this is investments of the UAE, okay, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait into the US financial markets. As you can see, from 2012 up to today, it's been exploding. All right? Because the US financial markets is one of the safest places where you can put your money. The intention is this. The intention is, hey, if I cut off oil and these countries no longer have access to US dollars, they're forced to spend whatever resources they have on protecting themselves, okay? And then guess what happens? The stock market collapses. The stock market collapses. The stock market is the real growth engine of the US economy. The entire US economy collapses with it. All right? There are about maybe 7 companies in America that accounts for about a quarter of stock market growth, okay? These 7 countries, these 7
is that like Vanguard and BlackRock and all that?
Companies, of course, are AI companies.
Oh, you mean like OpenAI and Elon Musk, NVIDIA, OpenAI, Microsoft, Google. Who else?
Apple, okay? These are the companies.
Apple.
And then these companies are heavily invested in by the GCC nations. So if these nations are no longer able to invest in the stock market, these companies will collapse in value. And with that, that would lead to economic depression in America. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so that is the situation for today. Today was just an overview, guys, okay? I know we covered a lot. I know there's a lot to take in, but over the next few weeks,
you did well, sir.
We will explore each issue in depth and really understand what's really going on, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so any questions, guys?
Any questions? Anyone got any questions for Jiang Zhou Wan? No questions now? I got a question. Do the Chinese really eat cat and dog?
Any questions about what we've just learned?
Oh, ignored. I get it. I get it. Stupid question. Sorry, sir.
Okay.
If other countries such as Italy, France, China, or Russia, they have also joined this war, like
who's that speaking now? Is that you, Avon Barksdale? Is that you speaking?
The cause of they joined the war because of oil or those resources?
Okay. That's a great question, okay? So I don't want to spend too much time on this question because we will explore this question as we move along, okay? So the question is, what brings the world into this conflict?
Asking good questions.
And the easy answer is just oil access, energy access, okay? They need to protect their energy supplies because remember, it's a very complicated situation because Europe is now fighting Russia. So Europe is not buying any oil resources, energy resources from Russia. Therefore, it depends a lot on the GCC. So the GCC is not providing them energy, then Europe will go bankrupt. Okay, so Europe needs to enter this war on behalf of Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you have Russia, which cannot allow Iran to fall because if Iran falls, then they'll come after Russia next. All right, China is actually neutral. China's okay with either scenario. But that's just the way that the Chinese system is set up. Okay, so we're gonna explore this question as we move along.
Chinese are just not—they're not neutral. They just don't fuck with us. Yeah, any funny movement, everybody dead. Any funny movement, anybody dead. That's how the Chinese are moving. Wicked. That Chinese are neutral. They ain't neutral. They're just like, yo, Try it. Dare one of you try it.
Oh.
What was the lava? What did I do that was lava?
But it's a very complicated issue. All right? Okay? And each nation will have its own different strategic interests to consider. Right? And what we need to know, what we need to figure out is that this war in the Middle East is actually connected to the Ukraine war. And then as we move along, I'll show you how these two things connect together. Okay? Any other questions, guys?
No more questions from me. But we're gonna leave it there, man. I feel like we're gonna use Jiang Shongwing for our next few videos over the next couple of days. He's gave us a lot of information. He's let us know the strategy within this war and how it can develop. He's let us know the weaknesses of both parts. Iran, their water supply can get cut off, but also they're also attacking the US military bases and also attacking the water supply of these big tourist spots. You get me? We also know that stock markets and all these kind of things are being attacked in different ways. It's just one big game of chess, brother. Yeah. And we need to stay up to date now. So this is what we're going to do. We'll still do the low vibrational content from time to time, but let's try to stay up with what's going on in the world so we can make good decisions and so we know when to flee the country and run. You know what I mean? You get me? But yeah, man, don't worry, man. Avon, I'll be on it, man. I'll be on it. I'm going to stay consistent and we're going to get things done. I'll just leave you today with wherever you are in the world, just understand that there's a missile that costs 1.3 million that's just about to hit a country and just blow up. You get what I'm saying? That's 1.3 million down the drain whilst we're trying to make fucking 10, 20 bags. Yeah. The world is a different place. Yeah. Open your eyes. Yeah. Expand your mind. Expand your horizon and understand, that you live every day, but you die once. Make shit happen, make it count. And also, don't forget to tell your loved ones how you feel about them, because tomorrow is not promised. Yeah? But you lot, stay blessed. Look after yourselves. I've enjoyed your lot's company. Yeah? And let's just keep on keeping on. Yeah? Peace.